Introduction to Office Software, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Paint. Chapter 4, PowerPoint. A presentation program is a software package used to display information, typically in the form of a slideshow. Presentations like this are widely used in business communications, especially business planning, as well as education, and pretty much anywhere where ideas are to be communicated to especially to groups of people. Presentations are prominently featured in political settings where persuasion is the motivating issue. A presentation program is designed to help the speaker and the viewers. It provides visual information complementing the talk. There are many different kinds of presentations: professional, work-related, educational, entertainment, and general communication. The presentation program in Microsoft Office software is PowerPoint. It's probably the best known of all the presentation programs, to the point that the term PowerPoint is often used as a generic term for a presentation program. To start a PowerPoint project, we begin by double-clicking on the PowerPoint icon. This opens the Home window. There are several icons in the Home window. There's one for opening a new PowerPoint project. There are several for tutorials or wizards for new users. Then there's a list of recent PowerPoint projects that we could open to re-edit. In the left-hand column of the Home window, the Open icon gives access to more sophisticated tools for finding and opening existing projects. The New icon in the left-hand column gives access to a number of pre-programmed visual themes or templates that can be used to design a new PowerPoint project. For our example, a professor might want to create a sequence of PowerPoint slides to supplement a lecture for the first day of a class. He would click on a blank presentation icon, and a presentation opens displaying a blank title slide. The default title of a blank presentation would be Presentation 1. The first slide displayed in a presentation will be a title slide. Our professor is probably going to use the first slide to identify the course that he'll be talking about. He would enter this information where the slide says, click here to add title, and click to add subtitle. After the course number and the rest have been entered, we can check what the resulting slide would look like by clicking on the Reading View icon at the bottom of the display. The title slide might look a little better if the first line in the subtitle block were a little larger. We can accomplish this by first selecting the line and then adjusting the font size in the font block in the Home ribbon. Select the first line. The first line is 24 points. We can set that to something larger, 28 or 32 point. Recall that this slideshow, like most slideshows, is going to be displayed while the professor, talks. It should show points of emphasis and details that might be remembered. It should not be a word-for-word repetition of what he's saying, unlike what I'm doing now. Nor should the professor simply read aloud what's displayed, as I'm doing now. The professor will probably begin by introducing himself. Next, he's going to give a brief general outline of the course. Then a very brief description for each of the primary topics of the course. In this example, the primary topics would be Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. Our project will first need a slide to supplement the professor's self-introduction. We click on the New slide in the Home ribbon. Home ribbon, New slide. We'll see a menu with several slide options. The best option for this kind of a slide to supplement the professor's self-implementation would be a title and content option. New slide, title and content option. Where it says click to add title, we would enter an appropriate title for the first slide in the presentation, like maybe Professor in charge of Comp 108. Next, we consider the content of the content block. Data information in the content block is by default displayed using bullets. Teacher, office, office hours. Now, if we want to create a new slide of the same type as an earlier one, you can right-click on the slide icon in the left column and select New Slide option from the resulting menu. Right-click, New Slide. Right-clicking on a left column icon and selecting New Slide introduces a new blank slide with the same format as that of the slide that was right-clicked. We right-clicked on a title content slide and created a new blank slide of title content format. Now, I'm not going to make you sit and watch me entering the course description. Course description Text will look like this: Comp 108 course description, and Comp 108 is an introductory course, and so on. Now notice what we prefer is to have some of the lines indented to indicate that they are subordinate or describing previous lines. We can get them inserted by using the Tab key. Tab, 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 and Tab. First day lecture should also include short description of each of the Office programs that are to be studied: Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Each should have its own slide. Each of the slides will be created pretty much the way that the course description slide was created. Right-click on an icon in the left column, select New Slide from the drop-down menu, and edit the resulting slide. The first would be the word processing slide. Right-click, New Slide, and this will be the word processing slide. Now, you're not going to have to watch me enter everything for the slide. So here is our word processing slide. Next, we have the spreadsheet slide. Right-click, New Slide, Spreadsheet, Spreadsheet, and slide presentation. Right-click, New Slide, and slide presentation software, PowerPoint. Now, it seems reasonable that the professor would tell his students what the textbook is going to be for the course. He could do this by inserting a slide following the one where they have the course description. We would do this by selecting the course description slide, clicking on slide 3, and then clicking on the new slide icon from the home ribbon. Why would he use that instead of right-clicking on slide 3? Because we want to use a different format, different slide format. We'll choose the picture with caption format from the drop-down menu. So select slide 3, course description, and in the home ribbon, we click on new slide. Whoops. Arrow, and we select the picture with caption option. Let me now we can enter an image by clicking on the icon in the image section and navigating to a directory where the image that we want is located. Now navigate, and here is the image we want. Select and insert. Now here on the right, we have several different options for the display of this image. Most of these options, notice, have but not all, have a section for text. Now we need to enter the text describing the textbook. The professor's presentation is complete, but it's a little bland. It's all black and white, black text on a white background. Of course, with textbook illustration, of course. It's all black on white. PowerPoint provides a number of what they call themes that can be applied to the slideshow, adding elements of color, making the presentation a little more interesting. These themes can be found in the ribbon under the Design tab. Design. Here they are. Clicking on one of these options applies the selected formatting style to all of the slides in the presentation. See? The slideshow developed up to this point has a very simple display format. Every time the presenter clicks on the mouse button or presses a key, the current slide immediately disappears and is replaced by the next slide. Click, 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 click. This kind of transition is perfectly adequate for a short sequence like the one we're dealing with here, but for longer lectures with numerous slides, it could become a little bit boring. PowerPoint provides a number of techniques for making presentation more dynamic, keeping the audience awake by doing different things. Among these techniques are what PowerPoint refers to as transitions and animations. Transitions, moving from one slide to another. The Transitions tab gives us a number of options for transitioning from one slide to the next. These provide a wide range of visual effects for display changes from one slide to the next. A transition effect is applied to a slide by simply clicking on the effect icon while that slide is in the editing window. An example with slide 2 showing in the editing window. We can click on the push icon and select from the right. Push and from the right. This transitions from slide 1 to slide 2. Although the default transitions ribbon shows what are probably the most popular transitions, there are many more. Clicking on the More icon at the right of the display will open a larger selection of transition options. PowerPoint also provides tools to support animations. Animations appear after the slide has, or can be applied after the slide is displayed. The most common use of animations is to display objects one at a time. And the presenter then can talk about each of them in turn as they display. Dr. Know-it-all might, for example, feel that when he is discussing creating, editing, and printing documents of Microsoft Word, creating, editing, saving, and printing documents, he might feel it would be distracting to have those other lines on the screen. Doesn't want students thinking about copying and pasting or formatting text or any of the others while he's talking about creating and editing. So he'd like to have just that line on the of the screen while he talks about those functions, and then after he's done talking about creating and editing, then he'll want the line copying and pasting to appear when he's ready to discuss those options. So he would want each of the lines to come on when he's ready to discuss that individual line. If we click on the animation pane icon, the animation pane will appear in a column on the right of the window. Animation pane icon, animation pane. Next, we select the objects that we want to animate. In our example, these are the 6 lines. Select. And then we choose an effect. In our example, we choose the appear animation. It's the most commonly used. The icons representing each of the selected objects appear in the animation pane. Here. Clicking on the lower right corner of the selection section opens a list of triggering options for the animation effect. In this case, we will choose the Start on Click option. That's probably the most commonly used trigger option. Whoops. Select all of them. And start on click. This applies the appear animation triggered by the click of the mouse button to each of the selected objects. So when the professor's lecture comes to slide 5, each time he clicks his mouse button, a new line will appear on the screen. Now, the animation effects are triggered in the order in which they appear in the animation pane, not the order that they appear on the display screen. So, click Creating, Editing, Saving, and Printing Documents. Click Next line, Copying, Pasting, Moving, Deleting text within a document. Click Formatting text such as font, type, bolding, underlining, or italicizing, click Creating and Editing Tables. The animation effects displayed in the default animation ribbon are not the only ones available. When you click on the More icon at the right of the animation ribbon, it'll open a window displaying a much wider range of animation effects. These animation include effects for removing or hiding elements from the display, for moving them from one place to another, and simply for attracting the viewer's attention. We should note that PowerPoint also provides help tabs, very similar to those of Word and Excel. We should also emphasize that the usual function of PowerPoint is to provide a supplement for a presentation, not to be the presentation. Excessive use of animations, transitions, design ideas can easily distract from the content of a presentation.